All right, guys, this is your Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Sean East. Of course, you know what day it is. Somebody didn't. It's No Tie Thursday. Guys, listen, you want to be on top of your game. You want to be on top of your A game. Bobby Jackson is on top of his B game right now. And let me tell you the beautiful thing, right? I could have hit him on the back end. This is how we play funny things over here in the Leadership Leverage, right? I could have hit him on the back end and said, no tie Thursday, Bobby, take off the tie. But you know what I said? I said to myself, like, he's going to learn. He's going to catch up, right? And this is what you have to do. You have to learn. You have to catch up. You have to stay on point. You have to study your craft. You have to become ready to explode at all times. Know where you're at. Know what day it is. Today is the day, right, guys? I promise you, if you see it that way, this is the first. We used to get extremely excited on the first for multiple different reasons. Some of them bad, some of them phenomenal, right? But, you know, it was the first. Today is the first. You get to start over again. You're back on zero. I don't care how much money you made last month. This is the sad part. You could take this any way you want to feel about it, but this is the reality. You're back on zero. So now it's time to add a zero. Wherever you're at in your business, you got another shot. Wherever you're at in your life, you've got another shot. Guys, wherever you're at in your health, your relationships, your communication, your community, you have another shot. As you can tell, I'm extremely excited. As always, exuberant, massive energy. This is your Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Sean East. As always, flanked by the phenomenal Bobby Jackson. Bobby, what's going on, brother?
Man, I am feeling inspired and thankful for humility. Humility. You know, there's nothing like showing up, feeling like you brought your A game and realizing that we're playing a different game. Like you came to play checkers, but everybody else is playing chess. So that's one aspect of it. But my definition of humility, just for everybody that's watching this, because it's a really powerful one, and I'm feeling it right now as I'm wearing my tie, is humility is the acknowledgement of one's strengths and weaknesses and the willingness to receive constructive criticism and take corrective action. That's my definition of humility. So right now I'm feeling incredible. I'm feeling like, okay, great. You're good at showing up, dressed to impress at the highest degree, but a weakness is the anomaly. So figure out, put it on your calendar, figure it out. Make sure you don't miss it. Take the constructive criticism. Okay, A game, B game. What are you going to do about it? And how are you going to show up every Thursday after this? Top notch, no time. And that's how I'm feeling this morning, is humility, humbling experience. The humble will be exalted.
Beautiful, beautiful, guys. So watch how he just exemplified exactly what I'm talking about. You're here. You showed up. You showed up in January. The first month of the year, you showed up, but now it's the second month of the year. So whatever target you didn't hit, you get another shot to hit it. Whatever sales you didn't close, you get another chance to close them. Whatever deals, whatever oath you made with yourself that you didn't keep, you get to recommit. You get to recommit again, and you get another opportunity to lead from the front. Guys, this is your Breakfast with the Brand. I can't wait to reveal my topic today. I think you're going to love it. I know you're going to learn from it. Now, whether you love it or not, that's on you. But I know you're going to learn from it, and we'll be right back. This is your Breakfast with the Brand. There's slow growth, and then there's scale. There's incremental growth, and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a zero to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 + 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 + 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 + 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 + 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a zero to you, you can add a zero to the marketplace. You can add a zero to the value that you bring. So you can add a zero to your family, add a zero to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a zero. Add a zero to your competence. Add a zero to your confidence. This is about adding a zero in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right, guys. So let me just break the ice. Like I just want to jump into this right quick. So number one, you see the no tie piece, but I decided to put on a jacket, and I decided to put on a vest under it. Right? You want to think in your business, in your brand, what is your differentiation? What is your differentiation? I'm going to give you an MBA today. What is your differentiation and how can you make yourself different than everyone else on the playing field? Because that's what business is. Business is about being original, being different, following your instinct, and being a leader. I have to say, like, today is one of those days where I say it feels so good to be a leader. It really does. It feels so good to be a leader, guys. I promise you, leaders win. Leaders win. That's what they do. They win for themselves and they win for their people. And you want to be the leader of a winning team. If you're starting your business, if you're starting your mission in life, in your business, please set your sights on being a leader. It's going to require risk. It's going to require danger. It's going to require staring threats in the face and still moving towards them as opposed to away from them. People are going to laugh at you. Let me say that. When I first showed up in a white shirt and red tie, you know what they said, Bobby? They asked me, how many of those white shirts do you have, Sean? Yeah, people joked on me. They said, how many? Do you sleep in the white shirt and red tie, Sean? That's what they said. Do you sleep in the white shirt and red tie? Oh, man, Sean had so many of these white shirts and red ties. There were so many jokes. So many jokes, but now who's the joke on? Let me tell you something, guys. The same people that laugh at you today will follow you tomorrow. So let me just give you an example. When the pandemic happened, and I was still in corporate, and I was a consultant, and I said, I'm going to help the people. And corporate told me that nobody was coming in the room. I couldn't speak anymore. I couldn't fly around because the planes were grounded. Nobody wanted to come in the room. What did I do? Now, I'm a servant leader. I believe in helping people. When something goes wrong, I get excited. That's my energy. When something goes wrong, leaders get excited. When something goes wrong, you should be getting excited, not dismayed, not discouraged. So I wanted to help people and jump into the fray because I saw a fighter in the boxing ring. And I didn't really see the opposition. I didn't really see a challenger. Nobody was opposing. Nobody was speaking. Bobby, all of the phenomenal speakers and coaches and consultants, shh, mum was the word. Mum was the word. Entire departments were fired and sent home. It was unbelievable what was taking place. I was waiting for the response. And because I didn't see one, I had to create one. I did not know Facebook, guys. I did not know YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, none of these places. Instagram, I did not know what I was doing or where I was going to go or how I was going to do it or what I was going to say. I just knew that people needed help and help wasn't present. So I showed up and I went live on Facebook and I talked about branding and leadership and courage and confidence. And now every third post is branding.
Right.
Every 10th post is leadership. There's so many people going live on Facebook now to build their communities. But when I did it, mum was the word. Mum was the word. Going live, breakfast shows, leadership lives, early morning shows. We did a 4 o'clock in the morning show for you guys. 4 o'clock in the morning. That was the pre-breakfast with the brand. The pre-breakfast with the brand was called the Alien Call. Leadership is what I'm talking about, guys. Do something different. When I did it, they said, what's an alien call? Who's going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning? You know what? Real leaders did. Bobby was one of them.
Yep.
Real leaders did. And watch this. Not only did they show up, but they invested in themselves. That's right. So an act of service turned into salary. Write this down, guys. An act of service, an act of selflessness, an act of giving turned into a gift. And I was able to leave corporate. And I was able to go private because I wanted to help people. And watch this. Through leadership, you become a leader. And now turn around right now and watch. There's a lot of people going live right now. There's a lot of people going live right now on a lot of platforms trying to monetize what we've been doing since the very beginning. It feels phenomenal to be a leader. So be a leader, take risk, and don't worry if nobody's agreeing with you or doing what your idea is right now. Launch your idea and watch. They'll catch up and they'll follow you later.
What comes to mind is something Billy Osbrook says. Billy Osbrook says, set yourself on fire and the world will come to see you burn.
Whew.
And I love that perception, that perspective, because it's pretty much like if you set yourself on fire with passion, with drive and resilience, and you believe in what it is that you are doing and how much you believe in it, and you just set yourself on fire, guess what's going to happen? People are going to come to judge you. They're going to come to talk about you. They're going to come just to see what other people have to say about you. And there's another person that says all publicity is good publicity, right? So granted, you can take that how you want, but at the end of the day, if you're doing something valuable and you are genuinely adding value to the marketplace and you've set yourself on fire with intention, intensity, and a unwavering belief that what you're doing is for the benefit of the people that you're doing it for, they're going to begin to feel it. And I say feel it because for me personally, when I got into business, I didn't have a communication background. I didn't have a copywriting background. I didn't understand message to market fit. So ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't write the copy, the emails, and all that other stuff to just get people to resonate with my message. The only way they resonated with me was through authenticity marketing, which I learned through Branded Like a Leader. And the authenticity marketing hack that I believe benefited me the most was the fact that I was able to help people feel my energy, feel my message, instead of trying to interpret my energy and interpret my message, which is what you have. That's what you're dealing with sometimes when you're creating copy. Like you're putting a message out there, they have to read it and they have to follow it, and you have to have the attention gainer and the disruption and all of this other stuff. Like that's a science and you can get good at it. But when you get started, set yourself on fire and let them feel it until you're good enough for your copywriting ability and your articulation ability and your speaking ability to get to the level you need it to be so that you can communicate it effectively. And as you know, if you're not communicating effectively, you're losing the battle. You know.
You're losing the battle, guys. Now this is a secret. I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. Anybody want to hear a secret? Put it in the chat if you guys want to hear a secret. I want to have a conversation with you. Like, we're not talking at you. This is not motivational speaking. I'm not here on a pulpit. Let's have a conversation. Who would like to know a secret? If you don't want to know it, that's fine. I'll keep it to myself. But if you do want to know a secret, I'll let you know a secret. I guarantee you that this secret will empower you. I don't give stuff. I don't talk for no reason. I talk, but I don't talk for no reason. I'm a speaker. I love to speak, but I'm an evidence-based speaker. I'm more of a scholar than a holler. Trust me. And I'm going to help you get some dollars. Okay, so Katrina says, spill the beans. Joel says, tell the secret. Rhonda says, yes, please share. To Bobby's point, I wasn't always, if you consider me to be, humility, right? If you consider me to be a phenomenal speaker, being able to command the English lexicon at will with no script, off the top, authentically, and not embarrass myself, I wasn't always comfortable that way. I wasn't always comfortable that way. I wasn't always able to command the English lexicon. I wasn't the greatest speaker. As a matter of fact, when I grew up, the places that I grew up and the conditions that I grew up around, it left me in an antisocial predicament. I may have wanted to speak, but speaking was dangerous. Literally, like quite literally, saying too much, having too much to say, smiling, being energetic, meeting new people, those things were dangerous where I grew up. So I had to learn, write it down. I had to learn how to speak. I had to learn how to project confidence. Great speakers are made, not born. That's what I want you to understand today. You can be and will be phenomenal at whatever it is that you choose to do if you can begin it and commit to it. Now, I made a choice. That's the difference. I made a choice to use my voice. You got to choose. You got to make a decision. And then once you make the decision, you have to give the discipline to the decision so that it can become more than just an intention. Right now we're lyrical. Now we rhyme sometimes, right? But listen to me, hear me very clearly. A lot of people have the intention to be great, but their work and their work ethic betrays their intention. Yes, their follow through. Why? Because there's resistance. People start out to leave the shore and then it starts to look dark and they turn back around and they go back into the place of safety. But this is the beautiful thing. Let me go back into the story of how I started. I promise you, when I tell you something, it's the God honest truth. Like, I did not know how to use this thing except to make a call. And sometimes I couldn't even make a call. That's how much of a master of technology I was. But I remember going live one of the first times I was going live, and I had a whiteboard in back of me. So I'm writing on the whiteboard and I'm teaching. That's what I do. It's evidence-based. I'm teaching what I know and I'm giving it to the people for free, like now, and they're learning. And at the end of it, a guy says, hey, and he says it to me in the chat, the same way you guys are in the chat now. He said it to me in the chat. He said, hey, Sean, we love the value that you're giving, but the words are coming out backwards. So if you turn the phone around, we'll be able to read the words straight. Now, this guy wasn't close to me. He wasn't like someone who grew up with me. He wasn't a dear friend of mine. He was a professional associate. That's all he was a person that I knew in a professional capacity. So what am I saying by this? I'm saying that the road will get rough, the water will get rocky, the clouds will form, and you won't be able to see the sun, and it'll get dark, and you'll have some moments of struggle. But if you're consistent and your heart is in the right place, you will be sent someone to save you. You will be sent someone to save you, because I didn't even know I was doing something wrong. I had no clue. I came on the same time, same place, with the same problem. But I didn't have the problem. So you might have a lack of confidence right now because you don't know everything that you need to know. What I'm going to tell you on this Breakfast with the Brand is, don't let it stop you. Let it be the reason that you push forward. Because in leadership, there's leverage and there's learning. And people will help you. They will meet you halfway as long as you're willing to start. If you're not willing to start, then no one can help you.
Wow. What comes to my mind is be, do, have. That was a concept that I was reading about yesterday. And it has a lot to do with getting results, in any kind of results. And what the author was saying when they said be, do, have is most people, when they set goals, they do two of the three. The goal is what they want to have, and then they go through a series of action steps, the things that they need to do. The thing that they don't do, however, is they don't always evaluate who they need to be. Be, do, have. And what tends to happen sometimes is when we don't know who we need to be, and we just know what we need to do and what we want to have, we end up doing those things with the wrong identity. And all of this boils back down to leadership. What type of leader are you? What type of brand do you have? And what type of results are you commanding from the marketplace? Because when the going gets tough, tough people know how to get it going, right? When the going gets tough, it's the tough people that know how to get things going. And I've learned that if you're trying to do anything for the first time and you're trying hard to do it, you've got to be willing to fail hard and try big, because that's the only way you learn. That's the only way you win. That's the best way to make corrections. In the military, we call it bold adjustments. So if I am on the rifle range or doing archery of some kind, like the concept still applies. If I've set my target and I have an aimer, and this aimer is helping me to hit the target, if I'm off, I want to make a bold adjustment, a big bold adjustment to get on target. But what we can do sometimes is we can make these small, incremental, baby-like adjustments that cause us to run out of ammunition before we get on target. And when this ties back to business, what I see a lot of times happening to organizations that have the potential to be successful, meaning they have potential to hit the black, to hit the target, to hit center mass, what ends up happening is they have 5 arrows, meaning that's how much cash and capital you have. They shoot the first arrow, they miss. They shoot the second arrow, they miss. And then they start making very small adjustments. And by the time they get closer to the black, they've run out of their arrows. They ran out of money. If you make big, bold adjustments, what ends up happening is you shoot the first arrow, bang, I'm off. You shoot the second arrow, bang, I'm off. And then you make a huge, bold adjustment. You make a huge, bold adjustment. And then you see where you hit, bang. And if you hit much closer to the target than you did before, you still have 2 arrows left. And now you can keep making bold adjustments in alignment with the wisdom that you've obtained from your last attempts. So I say that to say, Whatever you're doing, be bold. Be bold.
I love that, man. Like, sometimes people don't even know the wisdom they speak with. I'll be honest, right? Sometimes people don't even know the wisdom they speak with. I know when some people dissect what I say, they're like, Sean, it's a dissertation, man. It's an MBA, like literally. You gave us an MBA in an hour. What I say is evidence-based. I guarantee that you'll be successful if you apply it. That's my promise to you. Guaranteed, unequivocally. No, it has never failed, ever. And Bobby's an example of that. But what Bobby just said about being bold, if jumping out of the plane with no parachute was a thing, that's what I did. Let me just be sincerely plain and honest with you. If jumping out of the plane with no parachute and no plan was a thing, that's exactly what I did when I enrolled in college. I had absolutely no plan. I had absolutely no idea of what could even possibly happen. None. I had no idea what it would look like. I didn't even know what a Dropbox was. I had no clue what a Dropbox was. I didn't know. I was not technologically proficient. But that risk and that ability to initiate the pain. I'm not going to say initiate the process. I'm going to say that ability to initiate the pain and the embarrassment and the potential shame if I was to fail is why everybody is here right now. Let's grow.
It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile. He's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Sean Rais. I'm proud. I said Sean Rais. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. All right, guys. So again, what I'm gonna say with that piece is dare to do it scared. Dare to do it scared. This is another guarantee, guys. It's another guarantee. Like, I will not lie to you. Dare to do it scared. Be willing to do it afraid. You might think that I wrote this stuff down. I promise you. Like, sometimes when competence gives you confidence, guys. Confidence gives you competence. Repetition deepens the impression. What I'm about to say is going to sound so good, you're going to be like, he had to rehearse it. Dare to do it scared. Dare to do it scared. And if you do it afraid, I guarantee you'll get paid. If you do it afraid, I guarantee you'll get paid. And I'm going to give you an example. Bobby, is it okay if I throw you on the chopping block, man?
Please. I love it.
Okay, great. Is it okay if I sacrificial lamb? Will you be a sacrificial lamb for the people?
Most certainly.
Okay, so I had a challenge in Branded Like a Leader, in the Leadership Leverage, around the Branded Like a Leader program. I had a challenge. That challenge was, I think it was the month of February. It might have been the month of February. I said, everybody needs to go live every single day for the rest of this month. And no one had gone live before. No one had gone live before. And I said, everyone needs to go live. That's the challenge. Go live every single day for the rest of this month and watch what happens. And I told the people, because they were afraid, and they said, no, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. And I said, listen, I guarantee you what's going to happen. Do it and come back to me and tell me that it didn't work. And Bobby was one of the people. There's a lot of people out there who took me up on that challenge. A lot of them. And they're successful to this day. But Bobby was one of them. And he's here to tell you what happened during that challenge.
Man, you know, for me, I have a overanalysis paralysis set. Like, if I'm not told to execute, I will sit there and think about things all day long. On this challenge, I was forced to execute. And what I learned during this challenge was that every answer that I'm looking for in the ether or whatever, like, it's in my hands. And hands is just proverbial in the sense of it's in the doing. So a lot of times we can find ourselves looking for answers outside of ourselves, or looking for answers in a business plan, or looking for answers in a business model, like some type of system that gives us the answer before we've done the work. And what I realized was that the answers are in the work. And that was a profound experience for me. I got paid, to say the least, but I got from doing the work. And I just wanted to preface that, because if you don't do the work, and there's a lot of work to be done, so don't get me wrong, you might be doing a lot of work, like keep doing the work that you're doing, but the degree to, okay, Sean put it to me like this. He said, if you take 10% of what I teach you, you'll make money. I took like 40 and I made money. Once I got 50, I made more money. Once I got up to 60, I made more money. You guys know the story, 400% revenue growth for 3 consecutive years. And I still have not implemented 100% of what I've been educated on. So what I'm saying to you is the results are in the work, but there's a certain identity that I learned that you have to adopt in order to get the work done. And that can be found in Branded Like a Leader, in your origin brand story. Like, sometimes you have to reconnect to, so for me, I had to reconnect to the jarhead. For you, you might have to reconnect to the person that you were when you went through your doctoral program. You might have to reconnect to the person that you were when you were the single mother, or the person you were when your marriage was on the rocks and you said, I will not lose my family. And you just dug deep. Like, sometimes we forget who we are and you have to just tap back in. And when you tap in with enough pressure, and by pressure, I mean, you've got to, okay, I'll say this last piece and then I'll turn it back to Sean, because this was something that was very pivotal for me and I was experiencing it today. When Sean says, dare to do it scared, and if you're afraid and you do it anyway, you will get paid. I think that that's really profound, because there's a certain way you want to do things, and you want to do it with high morals, high values, high principles, and unapproachable ethics. So what that means is you want to do everything with good form. Most of you all could get the result that you wanted, but it wouldn't align with your ethics, so you don't do it. And that's good. So the real trick that I found, or like the real struggle, is how can I get myself to do what I need to do in alignment with my morals, values, and principles and get results? And that's a very interesting thing. And we read the book Psycho-Cybernetics. We were going through various coaching courses to help you do that. So I just want to give you guys the real honest truth. Like for me, I did the work, but I did the work with a certain identity. And that identity was a part of that origin brand story. It was just so much that went into it. So thank you, Coach, for putting me on the chopping block. I did get scared. I did get the results, but that's what went into it for me.
So you're very welcome. I can't wait to do it again, right? Guys, listen, what I'm saying is if you do it afraid, you will get paid. And that is a guarantee. Bobby got paid. Not only did he learn so much about himself, not only did he develop a knowing that he did not have prior to it, not only did he discover so many things about himself in the process, he actually monetized. He actually monetized. And then once he monetized, there was no turning back, was there?
Absolutely
not. Have you stopped going live ever since?
I have not.
So it became a culture, a risk became a reward. Listen to me, guys. You don't do things because you're afraid. You look over the ledge. What do they say? Leap, don't look. When you look at it, you're like, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. Oh, whoo, it sure looks dark down there. It sure looks like a long drop from here. And as long as Bobby was stuck on the ledge, he didn't get the revenue. The revenue wasn't there. He wasn't making the money, guys. But when he was coachable and said, you know what? I'm going to follow through on this part. I might not follow through on everything Sean says because Sean might be a little bit different. But this is what I will take and I will commit to. And after the commitment came the cash. After the commitment came the cash. After the execution, not the enlightenment. People are looking for enlightenment. They value the wrong things. You value enlightenment over execution. You value debating over doing. And you value risk over reward. So when you hear risk, you're like, not going to do that. And I'm not going to commit to that. Okay, but you don't commit to the reward either. So when you don't get the reward consistently from what you don't commit to do, you can't complain about it. God, share this out if you know somebody who needs this. I promise you, like, this should not be kept to yourself. Right now, we happen to be giving it away for free. So it's not hard for you to freely give because I'm giving you this for free. So freely share it out so someone else can benefit from what you're here because you know is valuable enough to command presence and attention. I'm just giving you small insights. Be selfless, sacrifice. Sacrificing will enhance your pricing. That's a guarantee. There's no question whatsoever to what I'm saying to you. It's been proven over and over and over and over and over and over again, and it will continue to be proven endlessly because I don't say what I think. I say what I know. I say what I know. If you serve, and over deliver, you will get what you deserve. Unequivocally. Unequivocally, this whole business was built in a sacrificial moment. I sacrificed my comfortability. I exposed myself. I made myself vulnerable. So when I say to Bobby, do you mind getting on the sacrificial block? It's because I put my own head there first.
I'm not going to tell Bobby to do something I haven't done or tell him to do something I don't know. I know this works. So if you're in the Leadership Leverage, or if you're in HPC, or if you're in the Branded Like a Leader Academy, if you've taken any of my courses and you hear me tell you to do something, the reward is on the other side of the execution. What you're looking for, I know what you're looking for. I know what you want. You want to turn your education, experience, and expertise into massive impact, income, and independence. And you can. And you will. As long as you're willing to be coachable and commit to the directive. Yeah. I don't ask you questions. I kind of give you what to do. I lay it out and give you the blueprint and give you the steps. We started with be selfless. Don't be selfish. When you're worried about how you look doing something, that's why you can't make money doing it. Because you haven't given yourself enough time to get good at it yet. You're not willing to be bad enough at something yet to get good at it. Because you're too you're so on you. I need you to understand this. You can be selfless or selfish, and your money lies in the balance of going from selfish to selfless and serving without concern for your own well-being. Sometimes when I say something, it gives me pause, because I have to reflect on it, and I have to reflect on how I was treated or maybe mistreated when I began to serve selflessly. A lot of people didn't understand. A lot of people couldn't see the vision. They didn't understand the mission. They didn't understand the directive. But as they benefited from it, they began to see it. All of my friends were like, what is he doing? All of them. I'm not a kid. Like, kids use social media. That's how it was perceived. Kids use social media. What are you going live on Facebook for? Why are you on Facebook? Why are you telling your story? Why are you telling your truth? Why are you giving that much? And I said it clinically because of my counseling background. I said, that's what's needed. Sometimes you have to self-disclose. It's called self-disclosure. In counseling terms, self-disclosure, so someone else can have a breakthrough because they can see themselves in what you went through and then pick up your strength, pick up your resilience where they don't have any for themselves. So that's why I was willing to do the things that I've been willing to do to help other people take the risk and take the leap so they can get the reward that Bobby's been able to get, that other people have been able to get. Go to my website and go see some of those testimonials. Check those out. We've had some phenomenal success in a short amount of time. People adding zeros to the back of their revenue, adding zero to their confidence. People have added zeros to their relationships. People have gotten married because they had the confidence, because they finally said, you know what, this is my life and I'm going to design the ideal life. And they took those steps because they began to lead instead of hide. Guys, anything that you want can be yours if you're willing to get out of your own way. This is the Breakfast with the Brand. We'll be right back. I just want you to take what I've just said with a grain of salt because it's more than true. Business is like a game of chess. It's not checkers. If you don't know how to lead with a personal brand, then you're losing the battle.
Everything about Sean's talk was fantastic. I mean, I got so much from it.
So he was really bringing fire and passion and his love and spirit to let everybody else know how do you become a leader amongst the leaders.
You hold the key in your hand. There is more power in this phone than there was that took the first man to the moon.
His energy, his dynamic information, gave a really great presentation.
I didn't ask for any money. I didn't have an offer. I had a heart to help people and meet them where they were at and find their need and fulfill it.
Sean is the bomb.
I don't talk theory. I don't talk hyperbole. I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Sean Rais He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
I know, let me say one thing before you start, Bobby. I've never been accused of feeding people through a straw.
Right. Man, takes me back to Brendan like a leader, but I digress. My goodness. And I was there live. Imagine I was there live. So action, results, all of this stuff that we're talking about right now. One thing that I've noticed about myself that many of you all may be able to benefit from is thinking without data does not work. And what I mean by that is if we think and we're just visualizing ourselves being successful, we're thinking about the dream, we're got all these visions, the vision boards are up, but there's no execution, there's no grind, or the grind isn't equivalent to the vision. What tends to happen is we're ending up thinking without data. And when you think without data, because you're not actually taking action, you're not engaging in what you're envisioning, what you'll find happening is that you don't really know what you think you know. And that I have found is one of the biggest Achilles heels for entrepreneurs at various levels, because I've seen people at 7 figures as I've been working at in a CFO capacity. And then I've seen businesses that are just getting started. And the thing is the same. It's like everyone wants to know what's on the other side of the door without opening it. That's what I realized. Like everybody wants to know what's on the other side of the door without opening it. And the reality is the only way you find out what's on the other side of the door is if you take the action of turning the doorknob, pushing it open, and walking through it. And that is, in fact, the aspect that I think is eloquently put in the scriptures, the good book. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Here's the thing. Knocking is an action. And here's the other thing. Once you knock, someone's going to open the door. Like they're going to unlock the door, rather. They're not even going to really open it for you. Like they'll unlock it. You still have to open it and walk through it. And the thing that I'll end you guys with is this. Discipline makes decisive. So discipline makes decisive. And the reason we want to be decisive is because decisiveness is one of the core components of decision making. And one of the biggest things, and I learned this from my military experience. So we call it the OODA loop in the military. That's a decision-making process. So what a lot of times happens is people get into the decision-making phase and are indecisive. And if they're indecisive in their decision-making phase, their actions are oftentimes, they're inconsistent. You know, inconsistency is a byproduct of indecisiveness. And I know this all too well. And I know this from a military perspective as well. So that's why I can so accurately depict this. So if you are getting inconsistent results in your revenue, and if you're getting inconsistent results in your bodily performance, if you're getting inconsistent results in your family, like whatever it is, it's probably because there's a decision that was made with a double mind or made from indecisiveness. And that can be cured, in my experience, from discipline. And discipline is really concerned with actions. So you want to take disciplined action. And when you take disciplined action, you want to walk through the doors. And when you walk through the doors and you take consistent disciplined action, you'll become decisive. And once you become decisive, well, hey, you're good. As far as
everything changes. Everything changes. So what I'm going to say real quick is I've worked with 8, 9, and 10 figure earners. I've worked with 8, 9, and 10 figure businesses, and I've worked with 8, 9, and 10 figure business owners, earners in corporate and in private and in the influencer space. All of them unequivocally move fast. They make a decision and they commit to it. Someone else does the research. That is not in a visionary's purview. Visionaries, decisive people, high-level CEOs have conviction, and they decide quickly, and they move even quicker, and their team fixes it on the back end if there's a gap. That's how change happens. That's how now a lot of messes are made. Everything is not going to work out the way you would like it to from the very beginning. That's called learning, though, not losing. It's called learning, and it's required. This is why in the first book of mine, The 7 Prerequisites to Success, failure is a prerequisite, because that's where the learning exists. That's where the jewels exist. That's where you can extract the wisdom to move accurately from that point forward. However, what I got up here is a fact. Fear is only in the place where faith is not. This is your Breakfast with the Brand. I hope you've learned something today. I always do. I never come without learning. So I hope you have as well, because this is our commitment. This is our sacrifice for you. And so is the Branded Like a Leader program and the Coaching Like a Leader program and the Leadership Leverage and Closing Like a Leader. If you want to raise sales, that's where you want to go. If you want to build a real profitable, visible, credible, and profitable coaching business, Coaching Like a Leader is it. And if you're stuck in your brand and you don't know which way to go, Branded Like a Leader will be the solution. It's a 7-figure solution. And Bobby's here as an example of it. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, because we're committed. Let's grow.